Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Arda Zakarian.
Make sure to have your umbrella with you today, as there will be scattered showers throughout the day. The rain will stay with us on and off for at least the next 24 hours. The wet weather will continue tonight with a low of 3 and into Friday afternoon. The skies will clear up somewhat late afternoon tomorrow, bringing us some sunny periods with a high of 9 and a low of 1. This weekend will be a nice one for clearing up your garden or taking a walk around your neighborhood. Saturday will be sunny all day with a high of 11 and a low of 0. The sun will continue to shine throughout Sunday with a high of 10 and a low of 0. Back to the work week on Monday, we will have periods of rain with a high of 5 and a low of 1. That's all for weather. Drive carefully out there. The roads may be slippery. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Arda. Now turning to national and international news. NATO is now taking control of the military operations in Libya from the United States. A U.S. congressional report says the country has spent between $400 million and $1 billion on the military mission so far. The report says the financial strain on Washington will ease as coalition allies like Canada take on a bigger role. The operations are now being led by Canadian Lieutenant General Charles Bashard. Earlier today, Allied leaders confirmed Libyan Foreign Minister and close advisor to Muammar Gaddafi, Moussa Kosa, has defected to Britain.
French President Nicolas Sarkozy is in Japan today, calling for new international nuclear standards. He's in the country representing the G20, and he's the first world leader to visit since the earthquake and tsunami earlier this month. Sarkozy says he's impressed by workers' efforts at the nuclear plant, although the situation is still dire. Authorities are currently measuring iodine levels in water outside the plant at 4,000 times higher than the legal standard.
Following the crisis in Japan, very low levels of radiation have been found in the milk in Washington, according to the Environmental Protection Agency and Food and Drug Administration. In addition, tests on rainwater and seaweed show radiation from Fukushima nuclear plant made its way to British Columbian shores. In the U.S., the EPA says it's increasing their monitoring of milk, precipitation, and drinking water nationwide. Health Canada says the amount of radiation reaching Canadians is minuscule and does not pose a threat.
Some victims of New Zealand's deadly earthquake may never be identified. According to the country's chief coroner, their remains may be buried in a mass grave. Police have identified 169 victims of last month's quake, but say the death toll may be over 180, including those who are still unidentified. The chief coroner will be meeting with victims' families tomorrow to discuss identification efforts.
India's census shows its population has jumped to 1.2 billion, and the country's population now makes up 17% of the world. UN forecasters say that with the addition of 181 million new people over the last decade, India could pass China by and have the world's largest population by 2030. This census, however, shows a slower rate of growth in the country's population compared to past years.
And now with your sports news, here's Kayla Card-Forbes.
Humber's golf team had an impressive performance at the prestigious Scottish University National Golf Championships on Wednesday. 4 Humber students made the cut, and Adrian Cord placed 5th overall with a four-round score of 286. We asked Assistant Athletic Director Jim Bialek what makes this tournament so significant.
Yeah, the Humber men's golf team traveled to Scotland to play in the Scottish University National Championships in Lossiemouth, Scotland. Very, very prestigious event. Some of the best players, upcoming players in the world participate there.
Turning to the pro leagues now, although the Toronto Maple Leafs are not yet mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, it seems their chances are slipping away. The Buffalo Sabres and Carolina Hurricanes both won last night, pushing the Leafs 7 points out of the playoffs with only 5 games to go. Leafs Nation shouldn't hold its breath. The Buds haven't had the miracle comeback they need since 1959. Pittsburgh Penguins star Sidney Crosby is strapping on his skates to practice with his team for the first time today since January 5th. Crosby has missed the last 36 games with a concussion. The kid says he's feeling a lot better, but there's no word on when or if he'll return for the rest of the season. The Blue Jays ended spring training with a loss against the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday, 5-3. Jays pitcher Jojo Reyes went 4 innings and allowed only 2 runs. Tampa's Evan Longoria homered in the first, giving away Reyes' only hit of the game. The Jays finished the preseason 2 games above 500. The Bluebirds play their first game of the regular season tomorrow night at the Rogers Center against the Minnesota Twins. First pitch is at 7. The Toronto Raptors were shut down by the Milwaukee Bucks last night. The Bucks won by 6 points with a score of 104-98. Raptors guard Jose Calderon suffered from a hamstring injury during the game, and a quick return appears unlikely. The Raptors have already been eliminated from the playoff contention. In other basketball news, rapper Jay-Z has stirred up a bit of controversy after making a visit to the Kentucky Wildcats locker room. Jay-Z showed up after the team's victory over North Carolina. The rapper, who is the part owner of the New Jersey Nets, is prohibited by NBA rules from contacting players who are not yet eligible for draft. The NBA says they will be investigating Jay-Z's visit. That's it for sports. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kayla. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Kristen Sampires.